Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we are going to continue with the RIIZE individual readings, and since I'm going in age order, the next person that we're going to do one for is Eunseok. Hopefully I say his name right. And in this reading, for those of you that do not know, we're going to check 4 different sections of his life, which will be his current energy, his career, his love life, and then any healing messages that come through. And in the description below, I will have the timestamps in case you want to jump around between those sections. And if not, then let's start with his current energy. So, how is Eunseok doing right now? We have 5 of Wands upright, the Page of Swords reverse, and one more card, or a couple more cards apparently. The 3 of Swords upright, the 9 of Pentacles upright, and the Emperor reverse. So he's doing decent, okay-ish. The 5 of Wands talks about competition, fighting, and conflict. Now, the thing that stood out to me though is that I said competition first. So the 5 of Wands at the moment shows that currently he may feel that he's in a very competitive industry. He may feel that there is maybe even a lot of clashing energies, maybe within the group as much as it could just be also within just other, charts, numbers, sales. I think he's kind of coming into the realization that that's a thing. Maybe he realized that the industry that he's in is a lot more competitive than he had originally thought of. Or he's finally I don't know why the competitive part of the 5 of Wands kind of stood out to me a lot more than the other the other things that the 5 of Wands could signify. Because it could also signify conflict and problems and fights between people. But let's look at the other card. Let's look at the other cards to see if we get a better understanding of what's going on. The Page of Swords reverse tells me that right now he finds it a bit difficult to either communicate effectively with other people or with himself even. The pages in tarot usually talk about someone that is like baby energy, someone that is barely understanding the suit that the page is representing. In this case, a Page of Swords will represent someone that is barely getting the seed of an idea is barely being planted within them, this whole sense of maybe someone that's learning to communicate effectively, someone that is barely starting to get this new idea. To me, the Page of Swords talks about this messenger type of energy. So with it being reversed, all I'm getting is that at the moment he may feel like he can't effectively communicate his thoughts, his ideas. He may also feel like he can't make himself be effectively understood. So when he says something, there might be a bit of a disconnect, or people just don't seem to really get what he's trying to say. So he may feel a bit misunderstood. And I do feel that is something that is really stressing him out at the moment because of the 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords talks about heartache, pain. It does talk about heartbreak as well. So I do feel that he may feel like he's in a bit of a hostile environment, or at the moment maybe he is clashing constantly with someone, or he doesn't feel too comfortable in the industry that he's in, or there's a lot of fights, arguments, or conflict where he's at right now. And I do feel that his biggest issue at the moment is that he feels like he doesn't have the right words to stop this conflicting energy, or since he can't make himself be understood, that brings him heartache. There's something here, maybe there's some sort of disconnect. It could be an internal conflict as well. There's an internal disconnect that is bringing him a lot of difficulties, and that could bring him a lot of heartache as well. With the 3 of Swords, it could talk about someone that has experienced immense pain that right now they kind of have shattered into pieces almost. That's the imagery that I'm getting here. But don't know. Like, I don't think internal conflict is much of an issue for him, even though that's a possibility. I don't think it's detrimental for him because we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is a very good card. It's like we start off with all of this conflicting, muddy energy. And I'm saying muddy because of the Page of Swords reverse. It's like it's not very clear, everything's a bit confusing, everything's all over the place. So I feel the environment is the biggest issue with him, because then the Nine of Pentacles talks about someone that is healing. It talks about someone that can financially support themselves. It talks about someone that is in a pretty decent place in their career. The Nine of Pentacles also talks about like building your internal, not internal, but building your own paradise, or building a space that is in alignment with what you wish and what you want and what you desire. So this Nine of Pentacles tells me that on his own, he's doing pretty well. Like, maybe he's not in the stage that he wishes he could be with the Emperor reversed, but the Nine of Pentacles still shows that right now he's doing well for himself. Like, his skills are at the expected level for his experience in the career that he's in the industry that he's in. Like, he's working hard for what he's doing, and it shows, or like it's paying off somehow. So again, this Nine of Pentacles shows that he's doing well off for himself. So all of this conflicting energy that we saw previously could just mean that he may be a bit frustrated that he can't get rid of the negativity that is surrounding him or that is in his immediate environment. Whatever it is, it bothers him, but it still hasn't like fully gotten in the way of his own goals and his own ambitions and his person. Like, you know those times when the environment can be so toxic that it starts bringing you down? Well, it hasn't reached that point. I do feel that RIIZE is in a bit of a challenging situation because SM does feel like they're still all over the place and they're not really like stable, or like they haven't really gotten the right pacing to handle all of the artists that they have. And because of that, I do feel that it could be a little bit upsetting for the RIIZE members, for many others. But I did mention, I think it was in Shotaro's update reading, I mentioned that one of the difficult things for RIIZE is that since they just started, they don't have enough of a grounding or like enough of a stable career to be able to fend for themselves. Right now the company is like all over the place, very unstable. But anyway, with the Emperor, this energy with the Emperor we have Aries energy, and it's supposed to talk about someone that is very stable, very grounded, someone that is kind of like observing the situation before taking action. The Emperor could represent like a fatherly figure. The Emperor could also represent someone that is establishing the rules, like this is what usually gets done, this is how things work. And with it being reversed, I do feel that at the moment he hasn't really established a set routine, or he hasn't really established a set of principles, were the words that are trying to come up. So my understanding of those words is that he hasn't really figured out his values or where he stands when it comes to his career or in his life. So what I'm getting at is like right now he hasn't really solidified his thoughts, his ideas, and his values. And I don't know if this is because he's still growing as a person, so he hasn't really figured himself out, or if this means that he hasn't really figured out how he feels about his career and the industry that he's in. And one of the reasons why I'm saying this is that he could have had like a set idea of like, this is what I want to do, this is the career that I'm aiming for. And now that he's experiencing and starting this journey of being in the K-pop industry, now he's kind of like recalibrating all of that and kind of reanalyzing everything to start to create a bit more of like a solid idea of how he feels about the industry based on his experiences now. Not necessarily what he has heard or what he expected, but now it's going to be based on his own experiences. So I do feel that right now he's still creating a stable foundation for himself. It seems like he has a good understanding of who he is and his skills, but his environment is a little bit too unstable or overwhelming to the point that he's kind of like reassessing his thoughts about the industry that he's in. But let's go into his career. So let's go into like the net section of his reading just to see what comes up in his career, because I have a feeling that what we saw in his current energy is all related to his work. What's going on with Eunseok's career? The first card that came up is the moon. And we're going to use a moonology card, so that's kind of funny. Oh. And the balsamic moon with a time for healing. Yeah, okay. With the moon card, the moon represents Cancer energy in astrology. So I'm talking about this top one. And usually the moon represents our emotions, our intuition. It represents what are like subconscious, so maybe things that we're not fully aware of. Usually I heard that the moon, like our moon sign, is usually how we see ourselves, because that's more of like our private side. That's usually, how we feel, how we view ourselves. So I don't know. There is this sense of like in his career, he is thinking deeply, he's feeling a lot. He may be using his intuition to guide himself, but also with a time for healing, there is a sense that maybe he has been in a very deep introspective mode. Like he's really looking deep within himself. What does he feel? How does he think about things? Also, connecting to his intuition to have a better idea of like who are the right people to hang out with, who are the right people to deal with, like what situations are right for him, which ones are not. There's also this sense of like in his career with the moon card, I'm getting like he's also learning like what his bullshit meter is. So what that means is like understanding how much he's gonna tolerate, understanding what his boundaries are, what his limits are. With the moon card, I'm also getting that he is in his career, he's learning how to navigate his emotions in the sense of understanding which emotions he owns and come from within him, and which ones are emotions that are being influenced or that came from his environment. So the best way I can explain this is that in his current energy, we saw how his environment was a little bit toxic. There's a lot of conflict or a lot of unknown energy surrounding him. So the moon card makes me think that he's learning how to have this discernment of knowing if the conflict is within him or if the conflict is just the people around him. So if there's chaos and if there's like this big mess and a lot of misunderstanding, is it because he is not communicating effectively, or is it because the people around him are just not listening? So I do feel with this moon card that in his career he's just learning to disassociate. He is learning discernment, and he is getting a clear judgment to have a better assessment of himself as a person, but also his career and the situations that he's in, the environments that he's in, and also even the energies that he entertains and surrounds himself with. So what I mean by that is that he is learning to see the difference between the people that he has to work with, because it's, being able to keep the appropriate distance with his coworkers. And with this, I do mean like staff, maybe even the people, even his own members. Like he's learning how to have a professional relationship with everyone. He's learning that he doesn't have to be friends with everyone. He is learning that he doesn't have to even give his time of day to anyone if he doesn't desire it. Like, I think he is learning how to have like this balance between socializing with people and networking with people, but at the same time learning who he wants to keep close with him. There is a sense that he's looking at even the smallest of details. I don't know how aware he is of this though, because there's some people that, by using their intuition, they just know someone is good news or if someone's bad news, if that makes sense. Maybe if someone's good news is not really the right word to use, but I hope you understand that he is just learning who he should like stay away from and who will be like a good friend. I do want you guys to keep in mind that I'm going beyond just his group members. I do feel that this is talking about staff. This is talking about other idols, like anyone within his industry. He's just learned, maybe even like friends that he has that are not part of the industry. Like he's learning who to hang out with and who not to hang out with, who wants to be with him because of the person that he is, and who wants to use him as a network channel of sorts. So it's like, I'm befriending you so I can get closer to this people or something like that, right? Like he's learning who is genuine and who is not. With this moon card, I do feel that the reason why he's going through all of this is because of this a time for healing. That just makes me think that he's just maturing, growing, and learning about himself. And this also makes me think of the Three of Swords. It's like he has experienced some hardships that have already given him enough information on the areas that he needs to work in. So what I mean is, like, if someone has betrayed him or if someone has already said something or done something that didn't rub him the right way, then he's already healing that by saying never again. Or he's already going like, okay, so this is the type of people I will be dealing with, or this is the type of situations that I will encounter from now on. So he's basically just adapting to his environment. And it seems like very early on he's already creating his own rules, or he's already like taking notes, like mental notes of like what to look out for and what to be aware of in his career, as well as like how he feels about everything. So what we saw earlier with the Emperor reverse about setting like stronger core values of sorts and being a bit more principled, like he's recalibrating and just adapting to the environment that he's in, and just in a way I'm also getting like setting realistic expectations for himself and the situation that he's in, something along those lines. But let's get a little bit more details about his career. So we have the Five of Swords reverse and the Nine of Cups reverse. So the Nine of Cups reverse makes me think of this whole idea of setting realistic expectations. But I'll get to that in a little bit. So the Five of Swords reverse tells me that he's picking his battles. So what I mean by that is that he's not jumping into conclusions. He's not fighting people for the sake of fighting. He's not arguing with people. With the Five of Swords upright, it usually talks about someone that wants to win at all costs. It talks about maybe winning a battle, but being aware that the enemy will want to retaliate or may want revenge. So there's a sign of like being cautious. But with it being reversed, this makes me think that right now he's trying to not create unnecessary conflict. He's not getting into fights. He's not getting into arguments. There is a sense that in his career, he's just observing the situation to know what's going on and understand like what type of life he's going to be living in his career. And with this Five of Swords reverse, it makes me think that he's picking his battles in the sense of like has this clarity or this discernment of he knows when to step up and speak up for himself and like, you know, set his boundaries and say like, you're not going to do this to me, or this is not going to happen. But at the same time, he's also learning that there's just some things not worth fighting for. And what I mean in this case is that there's just times that people may want to start a fight with him, and it has nothing to do with him. Like, if that makes sense. Like, there could be some people that they just have their own issues, their own conflicts, and they're projecting those issues onto him, and because of that, that could create fights, and he could end up in situations where he's like, clearly I'm not the problem, people are just a mess, or things are just not organized, and that's why things are not working. So I do feel that in his career, he's just learning that there's just so much he can do, and there's just so much that is worth fighting. Like, there's this sense of like he's learning how to use his energy effectively and not waste time, emotions, energy, and thoughts into something that it's not worth it, basically. So I think he's just learning, he's having this very good judgment and just learning how to create enough, what is it called? He knows when to step up to take care of himself and protect himself, but at the same time, he knows when to take a step back and just allow like problems to fizzle out. Now, with the Nine of Cups, this card upright usually talks about a wish fulfillment. It talks about someone that has an emotional satisfaction. There is a sense of, again, accomplishing something, a dream come true. With it being reversed in his career, I mentioned that he has set himself realistic expectations. So this makes me think that he is leaving his daydreaming behind, and he's trying to plan things out and be a bit more realistic. There's also this sense of like he's allowing for enough wiggle room in case things don't work out. Also, this whole idea of like not being too hard on himself if his expectations are not met within his career. I think he has experienced enough heartache or enough conflict within his career to understand that there are times that even if he wants something and he's aiming for something, desiring or wanting something is not enough. And sometimes even working towards it is not enough. And I think he has noticed that even if he puts a lot of time and effort into his goals and into his dreams, there's so many pieces moving here. There's so many factors that are outside of his control that I do feel that he has managed his expectations in a bit more of a realistic way in accordance to the industry that he's in. So he kind of already knows that even if he puts a lot of work into a project and he puts his best effort and everything, there is a little bit of luck that comes into his career. He has no control over who likes the projects that he works in. He has no control over who sees the work that he's doing. And he also has no control over all of the staff or like the people that kind of work into creating the works and projects that he's in. So like right now that are they still promoting? I don't know, but like right now that they took their songs as a group, he has no power in the staff or the people that they're going to work with. So he doesn't get to call or make the shots into making sure that everything works out smoothly. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So he's already coming to an understanding of how much power he has within his career. And he's also coming into terms on readjusting his expectations so like that they do match more with the situation that he's in. So he's been a bit more realistic, and rational was the word that came up as well. In other words, he's also learning how to have a healthy amount of detachment within his work. To not take things personally, to not feel bad if things don't work out. Like, again, there's stuff outside of his control, so he shouldn't be too hard on himself. But now let's go into his love life to see what's going on with Eunseok's love life. We have Earth, which is very good. Stable, pragmatic, goal-orientated. Those are some of the words that came up right now. Oh, wait. I don't know about 3 cards. Give me 1 card. What's going on with his love life? Oh my god, and 3 cards fell again. Okay, then 3 cards it is. we have new moon in Sagittarius with luck is on your side. We have new moon in Taurus with prosperity lies ahead. Let me actually just put them out like this. And we have full moon with surrender to the divine. So with earth sign, we have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And I'm saying that because since the Taurus card came up, that is saying something. These two new moons show that he's entering a new journey in his life. With luck is on your side, it almost feels like he should be optimistic. He should look forward to a lot of abundance entering his life, especially with a prosperity lies ahead. Like these two cards just makes me think that in his love, in his love life, it could mean it could mean like something romantic as much as it could just mean anything. It doesn't happen often. The last person that got something similar to this was Juju when I did her individual reading years ago. That in her love life, we got her higher self or her spiritual team coming through. And with him, I think it's something similar as well. Is that the message for him is that the universe or destiny wants to show that he's loved and that he's cared for. And the way that they're showing this to him is with the abundance that he's going to get in his life, or that he is getting in his life. With luck is on your side, he's going to feel like some things just kind of work out. Like it may feel like destiny or fate, but in reality is just something that is meant for him is entering his life. So maybe the right projects, the right people, the right situations. I do feel that there, even if things don't work out for him, it will be for his own benefit anyway. Like either a life lesson or just a divine detour of sorts. With the earth energy, I was also getting this sense of being cold. The earth signs are very grounded, very aware of how the 3D world works and how the physical world works. They work with very tangible ideas. So many of them can seem a bit cold, as I mentioned, very, very pragmatic with their way of doing things. And I do feel that in his love life, he's going... it seems like the universe or destiny is going to shower him with love by showing him abundance. There's this sense of like he's going to just have everything that he needs in order to work towards anything that he desires and anything that he wants. It's like he's entering this new area of his life, this new era of his life where he just has everything, all the tools necessary to create whatever it is that he wants to create. It seems like he just has the right people and he's in the right time, in the right space to create, to manifest, to work towards his goals. And this Earth's energy just makes me think that the best way that he will be able to take advantage of this energy is by setting life goals. 10 years from now, I want this. 5 years from now, I want this. This year, I want to accomplish these things. It's like if he has a very clear idea of what he wants in life, it will be easier for him to notice how he is being provided with the tools necessary to accomplish those goals. There is this sense of his energy is very grounded somehow. It's like he knows himself so well that even if the situation around him, even if it's a mess, it doesn't really affect him too much because he knows where he comes from and where he's going. Something like that. Now, surrender to the divine makes me think that the universe wants him to maybe learn the laws of manifestation, the law of assumption. Those are two different ways people like just manifest abundance into their life, or just connect to destiny and fate. Those were the words that came up. Oh, you know what else? The surrender to the divine makes me think what we saw earlier with his career. One of the things about surrendering to the divine is to understand this whole idea of letting go of control, letting go of those things that we don't have power over. So this is where destiny and fate kind of come in. And I talked about this in his career, this whole idea of like, it is good that he puts his best effort in his work, in his career, in his performances. practices a lot to polish his skills. Like, those are good. Those are things within his control. But he shouldn't be too hard on himself if he doesn't get the results that is expected of him as an artist, as an idol. So what I'm saying is, like, when the business aspect of his career comes in, so when the company is like, oh, we're aiming for these numbers, we're aiming for this reaction, we're aiming for this result, he shouldn't be too hard on himself if those expectations are not met. Why is that? Because that is not within his control. I do feel that destiny and fate have plans for him to allow him to see all of this abundance. Like, how should I put it? Like, if he wants to improve on a certain skill, destiny will figure out a way to help him find the right person to teach him the information that he's looking for. But of course, he needs to go out there and look for someone, or look for the tools, or look for. It's like, if he's looking for something, the universe will make sure to guide him into the right tools. That's the best way I can describe it, or the right people, or the right situations, or the right environment. If anything, all he has to do is just kind of like go about doing his own thing, and he will stumble upon this like little nuggets of good luck, if that makes sense, or like little checkpoints where the universe is like, oh, we were saying this for you. But the surrender to the divine makes me think that he shouldn't be holding too closely onto results. And, you know, whatever expectations he has, he shouldn't, like, there's no need for him to overwhelm himself with that. That is just a waste of energy, basically. If he just focuses on himself and on his goal, eventually he will see results. Eventually he will achieve his dreams and his goals and his ambitions. If anything, surrender to the divine just kind of says, like, whatever is not within his control, allow for the universe to just take care of that. And I do feel that he's already intuitive enough to have an understanding of this concept. If anything, I do feel that he may not have like the right words or the right labels or terminology to be aware that he's already doing this. I think, or maybe he does, and this has just been highlighted in his reading. Like, he needs to focus on himself and surrender to the divine, in the sense of letting go of results and expectations outside of his control. Something like that. But let's get the tarot to clarify his love life. So, what else is going on with his love life? So 4 cards came out. It was like a chunk of cards, and I just wanted to see how many there were. We have the 2 of Swords, which it's all about like making decisions. We have the Knight of Swords. This is Gemini energy. Very fast moving energy, action orientated. We have the Fool, which is like the start of a new journey. And then we have the Hangman reverse. This is Neptune energy. So in his love life, with the Hangman reverse, there is a sense of like the universe wants him to slow down. Now, because to me the Hangman has, especially when it's reversed, it's a warning of like either you slow down or life will slow you down. And some of the ways that life will slow you down is like all of a sudden whatever you're working on falls through, it falls apart. There's stagnation or obstacles that get in the way all of a sudden, or there's sickness, because usually when the Hangman reverse appears, it's usually for someone that is working very hard towards something or towards a certain goal, and because of that they tend to neglect their body, or they tend to neglect other parts of their life. So eventually the body just kind of gives in. It's like, okay, if I'm not eating well and I'm not resting well, of course the body's going to not have enough to sustain itself. So that's why to me the Hangman reverse could mean sickness. It could also mean an injury. So I do feel like he should be careful. if he's pushing himself too much and trying to control too many things at once, all of that negativity that comes with doing something that he shouldn't worry about will make it that the universe will stop him. And of course, there's levels. It's like, if he connects intuitively, he's going to just get this inkling of like, okay, I should let go of this, or I shouldn't worry too much about this. And if he listens to that, then he will not really reach the point of projects falling through, because he will probably just walk away from those projects because he just knows this is not meant to me, this is not meant for me, or something like that. And he will not really reach sickness because he will be like, okay, I'm pushing myself too hard, I need to rest. And well, the accident one, well, I do feel that sometimes the universe just kind of goes like, little Timmy, I already warned you and you didn't listen. The first 2 times, boom, I will stop you. So I do feel that with him, if he, like, usually there's warnings before stuff like this happens. So I think he should be okay. Unless, I mean, sometimes some people, like, if you look at their natal chart, sometimes you can see if someone's a bit more accident prone than others. Because sometimes, I don't know why I'm saying this. This could be significant for him, I guess. If you look at someone's natal chart, sometimes you will see some placements that tell you, oh, you're going to go through this very life-changing experience. And the way that that manifests is different for everyone, right? It could be something as simple as just having this new idea or this new point of view that gives this person a sense of, like, an epiphany that allows them to change their whole lifestyle, as much as it could literally be kind of like you have like a near death experience of sorts, right? So all I'm saying is that the Hangman reverse tells me that he needs a bit of a break, or he should listen whenever he has this inkling of like taking things slow and not pushing himself, because there is a chance that it could build up to something big. Anyway, the Two of Swords that we saw earlier does talk about decisions, so I do feel that he has 2 options. He has an option to worry over something that is outside of his control, or he has an option to take care of things that are within his control. And it's up to him where he wants to spend his energy. With the Knight of Swords, there is this sense of, which is the second card that we saw here, that's Gemini energy, very fast moving, the fastest moving knight in all of tarot. And it's supposed to represent someone that is very action orientated. If anything, the only thing that life could be warning him about is to not be reckless, is to think a little bit before he does things, but to not be afraid to go after his dreams, to just take action. And since it's Gemini energy, I do feel that if anything, the universe is telling him to just inform himself, get a lot of information so he has a better understanding of what he can do to achieve his goals, or to be able to plan effectively, to have a very practical schedule or routine so he can achieve his goals, to not be afraid of taking action, but to be understanding of the situation that he's in, so that he doesn't put unnecessary pressure on himself. And with the Fool, we have this energy of starting a new journey, taking leaps of faith. The Fool usually represents this whole vibe of knowing that the universe has your back, knowing that you're taken care of and protected, so there's nothing to be afraid of when you jump into the unknown. So I do feel that the type of loving energy that the universe wants to offer him is just reassurance that anything that is outside of his control will be taken care of to his benefit. He doesn't have to worry, he doesn't have to overthink how he's going to make things happen. If it's outside of his control, the best thing is to just surrender to the divine and allow the universe to take care of it, and just trust that things will work out in his favor. And then all he has to take care of and worry about is his own goals, his own dream, and how he's going to go about it. Just focus on what is within his control, and then the universe will take care of meeting him halfway. That kind of vibe. I do feel that he may have an idea already that he shouldn't be too attached to result, or be too attached to the outcome of a situation, but I don't know how aware he is about the whole idea of like serendipity, or this whole idea of the universe and destiny and fate. I don't know how aware he is about all of this, but that those things are coming out in his reading though. But to end off this video, let's go into our last part and check out any additional healing messages that have to come through for Eunseok. Let's see, anything else that has to be said. Let's wrap it up. We have the antelope spirit reversed with life is speeding up. So this automatically makes me think that there's a promising future out there for him, and it's a matter of time for it to start unfolding. The other card that we have here is a starfish spirit reversed with open to infinite possibility. And the last card. The last card for his healing messages is never mind. The last cards is a crow spirit with co-create with spirit, and the eagle spirit reversed with spirit has your back, which is basically the continuation of what we saw in his love life. It feels like the universe wants to give something to him, and that's why it's like life is speeding up or something. It's like things are on the works behind the scenes. He just doesn't really see that destiny has something promising for him. He may feel a bit discouraged because the starfish spirit reverse makes me think of someone that can't wholeheartedly daydream or even imagine of what the universe has in store for them. It's like, you know, those times when you're kind of jaded, so you go like, especially when you're like intuitively connected, at some point you just kind of go like, I have this feeling that all of these great things are meant for me, but I don't see them really manifesting into my life quite yet, like it's like experiencing them. So at some point it could be quite discouraging because you're like, I can feel that there's something great out there for me, I can feel that there's something good coming my way, but I don't see it. So I do feel like he may be in this situation that could be quite discouraging, because he may, if he is intuitively connected, he can feel how behind the scenes things are changing, things are moving, and it's changing for his benefit, in the sense of like, it's something that he wants, it's something that he desires, it's something that will make him very happy and will bring him a lot of security and safety. But since he doesn't see this energy right in front of him, doubt and uncertainty kind of starts creeping in. So I do feel this, his healing messages and what we saw in his love life. It's weird to call it love life because we didn't really get romance, but it's basically this whole idea of like, since he's so intuitively, he's sensitive enough that he can intuitively pick up how the universe and how the gears are turning. It's just that it hasn't really tangibly or physically manifested into his life in a way that he can see it. And because of that, this disconnect creates this void or this space of doubt. Because it's like, he knows there's something good out there for him. He can hear how there's a promising future for him. And it's a matter of time. But it hasn't fully manifested in a way that he can say it's real. So I do feel that because of that, he may feel like he's imagining things, or he has already reached a point where he's a bit jaded. And what I mean by jaded in this sense is that he's already kind of like given up hope that what he feels is going to happen will actually manifest into a reality. So these 4 cards right here are just basically telling him to trust in spirit again, to work with the universe, to open up himself to positivity and to abundance, to trust that things will happen, to trust that that destiny is in his favor, to trust that the inklings that he feels are going to manifest into reality. With the spirit has your back, it makes me think that the universe wants to work with him. And he's very good at picking up these signs. He can he's very good at listening because he's intuitive enough, but his issue is that he may find it very difficult to trust in these ideas and thoughts that come into him. So that intuition is very receptive. So he hears the message, but he doesn't trust or believe in it. So what I'm saying is that maybe he has dreams, or he just has this feeling that things are going to work out well for him. But since he doesn't see immediate results, he starts doubting to the point that he doesn't believe in destiny or fate anymore. Let me put it that way. So his healing messages is just to open up again, to trust again, to believe again, to believe in the impossible. I mean, they have a song called Impossible, right? Well, he should sing that song to his spiritual team, you know? Working together, there's no impossible for us. Woohoo! That kind of energy, that kind of vibe. I do want to mention that he has 2 birds, so maybe feathers and birds could be important, because also right here in the, what is it called? In the full card, the clouds make it seem like there's a bird on the imagery here. So I do feel the birds could be a very significant symbol for him. Feathers, birds, flying, maybe even air. That could be one of the ways that his spiritual team communicate with him. So if all of a sudden he sees a feather, that is his spiritual team reassuring him that he's in the right path and that they're there with him. If he hears a bird, it could be very reassuring, or it could be very calming and soothing for him. He could have a spiritual team. He could have a spiritual companion that is a bird, or that they like birds, or they use birds to communicate messages to him. I do want to point out that in the 3 of Swords, there were like, I don't know if they're leaves, but they actually look like peacock feathers to me as well. So that's another sign of birds. Yeah. Anyway, I will leave this here. I hope you guys liked this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This reading was pretty straightforward. Okay, the messiest thing was his current energy, because for a moment, I couldn't separate the situation he's in and him. But the moment I was able to like kind of pull those apart, it was very easy to just see where his energy's at, where he's at, and the situation that he's in. It's very clear, actually. But yeah, I wish him the best of luck with the whole idea of trusting spirit in the universe. Like, I understand where he's coming from, because same, you know, I feel the same too sometimes. You know, there's times that I also go like, wait, so if all of these beautiful things are meant for me, why do I have to wait? Divine timing, every time I hear that, I roll my eyes all the way back and go, okay, whatever. Anyway, we're all having our own lessons and our own journey. So that's why I do wish him the best, that he's able to just trust and believe in destiny and fate. Because it seems like there's something out there for him. I don't know what it is necessarily, but it's supposed to be something positive, something happy. Maybe success in his career, maybe success in his life. Maybe even accomplishing his dreams, whatever those are for him. Now, the cards don't really tell me how he's going to achieve those things. It's kind of like those times where like someone spoils to you the ending, but you don't know anything in between, like how they went from point A to point B. So I think he's somewhere like that. Like, he already knows that he's going to accomplish his goals. It's just how can he make that happen? It's not very clear, so he can't really push forward to just make it happen, because he doesn't know the whole story. He didn't experience the journey. He just knows it's going to happen. He just knows he will accomplish it. So he knows where point A is, where he's at, and he knows where point B is, or that he will accomplish point B, but the bridge to get there it's not there yet. So I do feel that's kind of what he's working on, just experiencing life But he's so intuitive that he already knows. He already saw himself. He already visualized his ending. He already visualized his goal. He already saw himself and knows he's going to get there. It's just like how he's going to get there, and that's the biggest question mark he's encountering right now. So I do feel like he could be a bit discouraged because it's like, what I felt and what I saw, is it real or am I just delusional? Right? Was I just daydreaming, or was it really an intuitive message of you will accomplish your goals? I think that's kind of what he's like working through right now. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. I hope you guys liked this reading, or at least found it entertaining. And thank you for all the love and support you have shown me and the channel. I hope you guys like the songs that RIIZE took out. I did like Impossible, and honestly were the ones that I liked the most out of all the songs that they took out. The rest were like okay, but those two songs were the ones that stood out to me. I will leave this here. Love and healing from my heart to you, and bye.